If I've got my schedule right, this video will be coming out on Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates, happy holidays, and I hope you're going to enjoy this not festive, but wholesome video. Hey Spuds, it's Jamie, welcome back to another video, first video on the channel. I don't know, but welcome either way, and I hope I do actually stick to my schedule and this goes up on Christmas Eve, and if you're not watching it when it comes out, then yeah, I've really dated this video. Anyway, today we are here to react to some good old trans TikToks. Trans people on TikTok. People making TikToks about being trans. Oh yes. And so I'm not going to waffle. We're just going to have a look at these little TikToks. Woohoo. I'm going to have to mute this. Do I walk like a boy? Do I speak like... This is the song. Do I stand like 10 weeks on tea? 10 years later. Sorry, baby, you keep asking. Do I kiss like a boy? Whoa. Dude. That beard though. This is cool. I watch so many transition montages. I have made so many of my own. And even I am like, wow, dude, that is cool. Like, testosterone, being able to transition, so cool. Look at this guy's beard. And I feel like that looks like a very stereotypical, like, mask job. Right? That is cool. I think... This is the thing, right? There's so many trans people like this out there living their lives. Go on, transphobes. Tell me that you can tell all the time. You would never even know you met a trans person. We're just out here living. And people have this really skewed perception of what a trans person is and what a trans person looks like. And it's just, that's not the case. Everybody's different. You might find someone that does match up to your stereotypical view. And there's nothing wrong with the way that person looks. But so many people don't. And there's so many people like this. And I just need to look at that. Day one on T. Wow, right in the butt. You're doing it yourself, day one, in the butt. That's cool. And then we skip ahead and it's just like, damn. Wow. I have beard envy. I'm not gonna lie.
Forgot to take my estrogen. Should I run upstairs and take it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm on so much estrogen right now that if my moods take a turn,
yeah,
that's why.
The estrogen. Was that a Kardashian? I feel like that was a Kardashian. Yes. It's so interesting. I feel like there's so much relatability that can be had between trans men and trans women, but like so vastly opposite, right? The idea of going upstairs and taking estrogen to me is like, what? So I take testosterone, but yeah. That's cute. I want to find a testosterone version. Don't think it would be said by a Kardashian though. Some of my fave things about being transgender. Oh yeah. I get to experience a life rooted in personal truth and authenticity. That's so cute. I have gained more empathy and compassion for all people and genders. I get to live in a body I've always dreamed of but didn't know was possible. I have the opportunity to cultivate a beautiful and loving chosen family. Honestly, if you take away transphobia and like societal opinions and like grossness towards trans people at the minute, there are so many like beautiful moments. I mean, regardless of that discrimination is what makes it really difficult. That and dysphoria, but there is a solution to dysphoria. Transitioning. The thing that is out of control for trans people is that stigma and discrimination and just the loud hatred there is at the minute. If you take that out of the picture, the dysphoria I have now since I've transitioned is minuscule and like totally something I can deal with very easily. I feel in a very privileged position to be able to say that now. That wasn't always the case. It's taken quite a long time, but I am there and there's so many beautiful things about being trans that I can see in my life now. I do have chosen family and amazing friends that I have met along my journey. I do have a different perspective on the world because of my own journey. I've used journey so many times, but it has like, I like this. I like this approach, this like highlighting some of the joyful moments and the beautiful moments that can be taken from being trans.
Your voice makes me think you transitioned early. I hope you don't come to regret it like many do. Interesting.
Huh? I missed that. Your voice makes me think you transitioned early. I hope you don't come to regret it like many do. Sorry, I heard regret as Reddit. Oh, I hate this narrative from transphobes that like,
you're gonna regret it. Many people do. Oh, have you seen that massive 1% that regret this?
So this actually is a very common misconception that a lot of trans people who transition young end up regretting it. Whether you're talking about medically transitioning or socially transitioning, there's a lot of stigma about being young and transitioning. I don't really know why. I mean, I know why. I know why people think that it's not a good thing, but in my eyes, as someone who did transition very young, it is such a privilege in my life now that I did transition at that age.
There's a really good way of putting it. Like, it's so many trans people, like every trans person I know and have spoken to, wished that they could have transitioned when they were young, or at least younger than they did. I came out at 17. I started my transition at 17, and that's reasonably young. I wish I could have done it earlier. And I don't know why people just don't trust trans kids, and it's so bizarre.
If I had not transitioned at that age, I would not be who I am and where I am today. If you're talking about medically transitioning, statistically, there is a 0.3 to 1% regret rate for people seeking medical care for their transitions. When being compared to the mean percentage of people who regret surgeries for all different types of surgeries, it's 14. The regret rate for transitioning medically and surgeries and hormones is actually super low. It doesn't really make sense to me why people depend on that in their arguments against trans people transitioning so young.
It's because there's nothing to, like, she's doing a great job, got all the stats. It's because there's nothing to depend on. So it's like clutching at all the imaginary straws but pretending they're real.
In my eyes, transitioning young is such a good thing because it means because you get to spend more of your life being who you are and being happy. You don't have to worry about hiding anything. You don't have to worry about dysphoria. As I have said in literally every single video, life is too short to live it any other way than the way that makes you the happiest.
Thank you.
And if there's a kid and they know what they want and they feel like their brain doesn't match their body, who are you going to be to tell them that they can't live the life that they want to? In a world with so much transphobia, a child has to have a lot of bravery and courage to go through that. And when talking about medically transitioning, it's not an easy thing to do.
That is such a good point about the bravery thing. It's like there's this whole conspiracy that trans people or like parents who accept their trans kids are pushing their kids to transition, and it's like, no, actually, like a vast majority of what a lot of these kids get fed is that they're gonna get rejected when they come out as trans. It's a big scary thing that a lot of people put off. A lot of trans people knew when they were children, but most won't come out until at least their late teens, and they hold on to that for so long out of fear of being rejected. So where this pushing is coming from with transphobes, I mean, I don't know where anything is coming from with transphobes apart from hate.
In the sense that you have to go through therapies and you have to go through so many different doctors and insurance plans and your parents and your family. There's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through to be able to get the care that you need. Doctors don't take this lightly at all. For example, if I have something wrong with my body or something wrong with my health, I'm going to go to the doctor and I'm going to see what they have to say, and most of the time I'm going to listen to them. If they tell me, oh, you should go take this medicine or you should go do this and that's going to help your problem, I'm not going to say, no, you're wrong, because they're the doctor and they understand.
Transphobes think they know more than the specialist doctors. It's very arrogant.
And in the long run, as someone who agreed with what the doctors had to say, I think that I'm so lucky to have had that privilege of transitioning so young. I really couldn't imagine what my life would be like without it, and I don't even want to think about it. But yeah, at the end of the day, there's always going to be people who are trying to undermine these studies and the doctors and everything, and you can't really help what they have to say. They're all of their arguments are just based on transphobia and hate. If you're gonna talk about this, I would suggest doing some research first, because all of the credible research on the internet and in the world and education, they all say that the best way to help gender dysphoria is to transition. If you're really having gender dysphoria, then transitioning can really help you. Just remember, it's your life, and really, it's no one else's business. We should all just have the right to live our lives as ourselves anyway. I love you guys. Hope you have a great day.
Cool. Good video. Truth. Honest facts. The one thing I would add as well is something that a lot of transphobes say is like, oh, but so many kids grow out of it. Majority grow out of it. And that's like the old research. There's a 97.5% like consistency rate over a 5-year period with kids continuing to identify as trans. And this is over a time where they wouldn't even have access to anything irreversible. This is during the time where it's like really primarily socially transitioning and the odd person getting access to puberty blockers. Over a 5-year period, 2.5% no longer identified as transgender. And they had done nothing but express themselves in a way that at the time made them comfortable. 7 years old. I'm a boy. Society. You're too young to know that. 21 years old. I'm a man. You just want to escape womanhood. I'm an older now. You're too old. You should have always known. Oh, flippin' heck. Oh, the accuracy of that hurts. That is so painfully true. To a transphobe, there is never a right time for a trans person to know themselves fully and come out and transition. That is so, painfully accurate. Children are too young to know themselves. Adults are just wanting an excuse for an easier life, a different life, whatever. They're just making it up. And then when you're older, because you've delayed it so much because of all this bigotry, no, you're too old. You should have known when you were a child. There is no winning with transphobia. It's like trying to win against somebody that cheats in a board game. You can't. Like, they do a really good job at just cheating and nobody else is noticing that they're cheating, so they win. You know they're cheating, but you can't beat them because you don't want to cheat. The cheating was meant to represent like transphobic lies. I feel like explaining it just ruined it. But yeah, that was the point of that. My daughter 4 just told me I look like a girl. Why? Because I have eyelashes. I thought it was going to be like eyes. So apparently her concept of gender is more influenced by cartoons than real life. Kids at 4, that's a bit before they have like permanency and they just don't care. I think a lot of it for kids when they're that age is down to expression. Is why we see a lot of like trans kids when they were younger really try to lean very heavily into the expression and like the pattern of their gender rather than their assigned sex, because that's what kids like recognize as, okay, like if I want to be seen like these other people who I view myself as being within the same group as, I mean, it's probably not going to be that deep in the mind of a 4-year-old, but there's this automatic kind of want to fit in with the people that you view as being the same as you. So this is a TikTok from the same guy.
Hey, my name's Brian. I'm a 40-year-old trans guy. I started transitioning almost 22 years ago. And back then, people were saying, trans is a fad. And now today, people are saying, being trans is a fad. It's a really long fad. You're valid. Don't let the haters get you down.
So he's like older, and I'm only saying older. I do not view 40 as old whatsoever. That's not what I'm trying to say. Just like older trans guy in terms of trans guys we typically see online. An older trans person who is a parent who transitioned 22 years ago would have made him 18. And like, I love seeing that. I view myself being a dad one day. Like that's what I am aiming towards, right? I'm like 10 years behind this guy, 11 years behind this guy, transitioned at the same age, and like I'm like 11, 12 years into my transition. I like seeing that. It gives me hope. I think I heard a trans person recently talk about how uncommon it is to see trans parents, like trans people who are older than like early mid-20s. Even mid-20s feels like a push sometimes. Like, so I'm 29 and I'm so frequently described as like the trans dad because I'm viewed as an older trans person and I'm not even 30. That's just mad to me. And when I think about it, now including this guy, I can only think of a handful of older trans people and very few trans parents. I'm sure there are loads out there, but they're just not as visible. It's difficult to view yourself getting older as a trans person when there's like very little there. There's very little to see yourself in getting older. Does that make sense? Because there's so few older trans people that are visible that you could be like, that's where I can see myself in 20, 30 years. Like that's where I can see myself in 11 years, being 40 with a child, preferably 2. I'd like to have 2. If I was in more of an emotional mood, I probably would have cried, but I'm good today. It's still fine. That was great. I mean, if I had a sound effect like that that said I have a penis after I had bottom surgery, that would have been great. Congratulations on the vagina. Amazing. POV, having a period as a trans person. Daring. Hashtag like a girl. Yeah, I understand. Like, that was a big campaign not that long ago, like the hashtag like a girl. And I get it. But at the same time, there's not a problem with having those types of products that are more gendered, but there's been no option. I think there are some options coming through now. I've seen like a recent Finnish tampon brand bring out like tampons specifically marketed towards trans men. I've seen other companies, I worked with one, Cycle, they brought out like gender neutral period products. I think that's fantastic, and those are the options we need. Like a lot of period pants and a lot of period pant companies are marketed in a more gender neutral way, which I love. And it's like, it's okay to still have gendered things. Trans people aren't saying we must get rid of like all of the gendering. No, period products can be stereotypically feminine and like smell like flowers and be pink. That it's okay. It's just about having an option, because like I'm telling you, as a trans guy, it is very awkward to go into a public men's bathroom and open up something very purple that smells very, very, very distinctive compared to the rest of the bathroom smells, and then have nowhere to put the rubbish. And it is dysphoria inducing. Like having a period as a trans masculine person, it can trigger dysphoria for a lot of people anyway, like regardless of the product you use, just the nature of it. But something that can help is not having a product that like is shoved in your face as being like, you're a girl, you're a woman. Like that's that just like makes it harder to deal with, because like you're already like in your head with your feelings, not feeling so great because this thing has happened, and then you're looking at this thing that's just like hashtag like a girl, Venus symbol, flowers, you're a woman, and you got to open that and use it. And like trans mask people are not women, and I know that if there's any transphobes watching this, you're going to be like,
oh, but just accept reality. It's because you are. Only women have periods.
Fine, believe that. Go comment that downstairs in the comments if that's what you believe. I don't care, because I'm not going to change your mind. I know that trans men are men, and I know that trans men can have periods, meaning that some men have periods, and meaning that it would be great if not all period related products were geared just towards women. Simple.
Come with me to get a vagina. Today, I actually get gender confirmation surgery. And you guys, I'm really excited. Last night was super emotional. I was at dinner with my family and they got me this beautiful Van Cleef bracelet. I literally feel so blessed that I'm here with my entire family. Now back to the present. Today, we are headed to Dr. Blue Bond here in New York City. I packed everything, said goodbye to Cinnamon, and my whole family came with me. I'm gonna be in the hospital for a week. NYU is literally so beautiful. My best friends came to wish me good luck.
This is so cute. Sorry, it's like really getting me, the amount of support that she has. I love that so much.
And my mom helped me take off all my jewelry. For those of you who don't know, gender confirmation surgery is something that I have wanted since I was literally like 10. And it's a very lengthy, intense recovery. But if anyone can do it, it's 1000% me. I am still in the hospital right now. I just woke up and, you know, I still gotta look cute. So I'm brushing my hair, trying to feel like a baddie. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the love you've shown me. And I can't wait for this next chapter of my life.
I love it. Congratulations. I don't know how long ago you had surgery, but I hope you are healing and you are happy and everything is going well. I love the amount of support. Oh, I just love it. I love it.
Okay, I'm about to go into uni and here's my plan. I'm a trans guy who sounds like a girl because I'm a trans guy. If I sound slightly more like a guy than normal, it's because I'm sick. So I'm not even gonna have that. Now, let me set the scene for you. Hi, why do you sound like that? My balls never dropped.
Where's the lie? The balls never happened. The voice thing, the pre-T voice thing is the worst. I remember absolutely loving having colds when I was pre-T. I like record videos and I'd be like, hello, I have a cold right now. Listen to my deep voice. When really it wasn't too different. I was like Phoebe from Friends. I was like, get me ill again.
My sticky shoes. Gunther, kiss me.
Yeah, that was definitely my energy. Like, yeah, because my voice is what outed me the most before I started testosterone. I got very quiet because I was like, not gonna talk because that's what outs me. So yeah, completely relate. Never got asked why my voice sounded high. People just made an assumption. They were either like, oh, okay, you're a dude with like a higher pitched voice, or they would assume I was a girl. I would either correct them if I was going to interact with them again, or I'd just leave it if I wasn't. I'd be like, okay, this feels uncomfortable, but I don't want a conversation. Never had to tell someone that my balls hadn't dropped, but I respect the decision to do that. When I go to the beach with 3 different looks just in case the gender switches
The girl
up.
boy, not girl, not boys, who not girl, not boy, girl boy. Floger Boylan.
That sounded like Simlish at the end. I feel like people who don't like things like that must be threatened in some kind of way. Are they jealous that they don't feel confident enough to be that open with their expression and that accepting of who they are and what they want to do and what they want to wear and how they want to be? Because like that's literally just somebody living their lives and wearing clothes, expressing themselves and living in a way that makes them comfortable. What's the problem?
My dad was in the newspaper. Your local paper?
Huh?
I just don't think that's what Mrs. Gracie meant by historical. This is supposed to be about...
I got so confused by that. I went, I was listening, the audio track on the back is about a newspaper. So when the text on top said my surgery was covered by the government, I thought they meant in like a reporting style. And I was like, why are they writing articles about your surgery? What's going on? But okay, as in like NHS style covered surgery. Okay, got it. I think the government should only cover necessary procedures.
Famous people? My dad is famous.
Mm-hmm.
He saved lots of lives. In a mall fire.
I was terrified to get surgery. I understand that some people get things like plastic surgery, so like not everybody would only ever have surgery when it was absolutely 100% like medically necessary. I was terrified though. I would not, me personally, I would never have had surgery if I didn't need it. It was something I needed to do in my life. It was a necessary surgery for me to do. Gender dysphoria is an actual medical condition that is diagnosed by specialist doctors, and there is an actual medical treatment and medical approach to treat gender dysphoria that is accepted by all the major medical boards. I don't know why people still insist that it's not a necessary thing and that trans-related surgery shouldn't be covered in the same way other necessary medical surgeries are, because they, the non-experts who don't understand anything about being trans or trans people, deem it unnecessary. I try not to listen to them because it's like, who are they to say it's unnecessary? They literally know nothing. But yes, it is necessary. Not every trans person will feel like they need to have surgery, but a lot do, and they should absolutely have access to it.
Being a trans lesbian is so silly. Like, you're really telling me that I spent hundreds of dollars on hormone replacement therapy and put incalculable strain on my relationship with my family just to dress exactly like how I dressed as a teenage boy?
Yes. Yeah. I like the humor in that, but it's also such an important point of like trans people, once they've like started their transition and are living as their true gender, don't have to be gender conforming, don't have to express in a way that's stereotypically expected for their gender. Trans men don't have to be masculine. Trans women don't have to be feminine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's this like expectation that, oh, if you're a trans man, in order to be in any way respected as a man, you need to be the epitome of masculinity. And if you're a trans woman, to be respected in any way as a woman, you need to be the epitome of femininity. And it's like, bullshit.
Bullshit, Vivian. And I know exactly.
You dressed how you did as a teenage boy.
We're sister girls, and we're transgender.
You're transgender?
Yes, I am transgender.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Are you all men becoming women or women becoming men?
Men becoming women. In the LGBTI community that we have lesbians.
I'm a lesbian.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But you know, to be a woman, you're going to have to get rid of all that stuff. But I get whiskers on my chin, and I have to pick them out with tweezers. Because that's what women do.
I feel like she's trying. I love the representation. This is not something I've ever seen before, and this is super important to talk about. But I feel like there's some language where it's like, oh, you're trying. You're not being mean, but there's a couple things. I don't know if she's joking, but okay.
You know, in our culture, we respect that person regardless of the look. We don't look on the outside. It's the inside that you have to change. And
so
then on the
my
outside,
telling you to shave is stupid of me. I should know that it's not what you look like outside. It's who you are and how you feel.
It's just like I'm just saying, like it's there for decoration.
I see.
That's how it
Well,
feels to me.
I apologize. Now I understand.
That was a very respectful conversation. I've never seen trans Aboriginal people like represented in any way. That's very cool. Being trans has existed across so many different cultures for the longest time and respected as well. Some people just have such a problem with it because they're like, oh, this new thing. No, it's not new. And it's not just in white Western culture that it's happening. It's not just happening where people have access to social media. It's not just happening where people watch certain TV or see certain headline. Is not just happening in places that have a specific culture, have a specific access to certain things or whatever. Is something that just naturally occurs to some people regardless of where they live and regardless of what time they live in, whether it's now, whether it's 200 years ago, whether it's 1,000 years ago, whether it's in 200 years time. There always have been and there always will be trans people. And I think by exploring transness in different cultures and looking at trans people historically is a super important thing to do. And I'm glad they called her out on the "you should trim your beard" hairs, because that was a bizarre thing to say. And that's all the trans TikToks from today. Did we like this video? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you did like it. I hope it was like a little bit of like positivity, relatability, all of that wonderful stuff. Think about giving the video a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to, but no pressure. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.